We'll hear from Joplin officials on an overnight fire at the historic Olivia building.
We're hearing today from President-elect Joe Biden's nominees for key health positions. I'm Natalie Brandon, Wilmington, Delaware, with their message about the pandemic.
Plus, get your phones out because it's another edition of our Toy Box Tuesday telethon.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
It's time for another Toy Box Tuesday telethon. It's your chance to call and make a monetary pledge that'll be used to buy toys for area children in need. Our friends at Bishop and Hayes are ready to take your calls right now. All you have to do is have your credit or debit card handy and call 1-888-620-4TOY. We'll keep that number at the bottom of your screen. You can make that call anytime during this newscast or during KOM News at 6. We'll check back in on our Toy Box Tuesday call center in a few minutes, but first, some of the day's news. Joplin city officials today held a briefing on the overnight fire at the historic Olivia building. Fire officials say they got the call around 9:38 last night. The fire was located on the 5th floor of the building, covering about 80% of that floor. The fire was brought under control at around midnight. The fire comes just after the Joplin City Council passed a resolution back in October supporting a restoration plan for the building, which would have developed units for senior housing.
It's really unfortunate to see the damage that occurred. There was so much hope for a development that might still be possible, but again, kind of a sad night.
The unoccupied building was recently named one of Missouri's 2020 places in peril by the Missouri Alliance for Historic Preservation. The cause of the fire is still being investigated. Rural health care in southeast Kansas is getting hit hard by this pandemic. In Wilson County, Kansas, they've just crossed 400 total positive cases. 31 of those were over the weekend as they start seeing cases from the Thanksgiving holiday, and 12 new cases came in this morning. Now their contact tracers are working to find all those exposed. It's a big job for the handful of contact tracers they have at the health department.
I don't think we are keeping up. We're doing the best that we can. We did have to set some boundaries because I really think that we could be here 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, if we let it happen that way.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear how the pandemic is impacting the critical access care hospitals in the county, as well as what officials are doing to slow the spread. We've been helping 4-state families with the KOM Toy Box for the past 32 years. And as Kate Kelly joins us now from today's call center, Kate, I understand the Toy Box efforts have left a lasting impression on one family in particular from Allen County, Kansas.
That's right. Shannon Poor is a woman who actually remembers growing up with help from the Toy Box when she was a little girl. Now she's a mom herself, and she says Toy Box is something she's glad that she knows about. Shannon is a single mom with 3 kids, 2 little boys ages 6 and 10, and a little girl who will turn 5 in April. She says Christmas can be a challenge, and she understands what her parents went through trying to put presents under the tree. Toy Box was there for her family then, and it's there for her now. She hopes you'll all give what you can to help out families just like hers.
If somebody else donates, it helps a family in need that doesn't have money, the income to get their kids something. So it helps out a lot on another family.
Since the beginning of the campaign in 1988, 4 state residents have helped KOAM make Christmas brighter for thousands of area families. Once again, we invite you to join us in the KOAM Toy Box, one of the area's largest toy drives to benefit.
Okay, Kelly, thank you so much. Again, that number to call is 1-888-620-4TOY. And special thanks to our Toy Box elves from Bishop and Hayes for manning the phones for us today. Doug Heddy joining us now with our first look at weather. Absolutely gorgeous day for December.
Yeah, it really just about perfect across the region as we went well into the 50s for afternoon highs. We've had a few mid and upper level clouds across the region, but if you look outside right now, it makes for a great sunset as the clouds have that nice red tint to it. But we're going to have a few clouds kind of streaming through for us tonight, and but really that's about it. We're going to stay dry at least over the next couple days. Then a storm system, you can see that little spin right off the coast of California, that will start to affect us by Friday, changing our weather up for the weekend. Looks great right now. We're sitting into low to mid 50s. We'll slowly drop through the 40s, eventually into the upper 30s later on tonight. We're going to be pressing 70 over the next couple days. We're going to be talking about that coming up here in just a bit.
That's unreal. All right, Doug, we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you so much. Yeah. President-elect Joe Biden vowed to have 100 million COVID-19 vaccine shots in the arms of Americans in his first 100 days in office, while presenting his nominees for top health positions. Reporter Natalie Brand is in Wilmington, Delaware, with the latest.
Good afternoon.
President-elect Joe Biden introduced key members of his health team who will be tasked with tackling pandemic response and COVID-19 vaccine distribution.
Masking, vaccinations, opening schools. These are the three key goals for my first 100 days.
Mr. Biden has tapped California Attorney General Javier Becerra, a former Democratic congressman, to become the first Latino Secretary of Health and Human Services.
It is our turn to build a nation where, as the president-elect so often says, healthcare is a right, not a privilege.
Mr. Biden's pick for chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, sent a recorded message.
In the fight against this pandemic, we must lead with science.
President-elect Biden is expected to announce more top cabinet picks before the Christmas holiday, and he's facing mounting pressure to increase diversity among the remaining posts. Mr. Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will discuss the issue in a virtual meeting with civil rights leaders. CBS News has confirmed the president-elect plans to nominate retired four-star General Lloyd Austin to become the first black man to lead the Pentagon. Austin led U.S. Central Command and military forces in Iraq before retiring 4 years ago. Federal law requires former military officers to wait 7 years before serving as defense secretary, so he would need a special waiver from Congress. Some Senate Democrats have hinted they may oppose the waiver. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Wilmington, Delaware.
We were hearing about that federal law. Congress voted to grant a special waiver to General James Mattis before he became President Trump's first defense secretary back in 2017. The legal requirement for defense secretaries to be out of uniform for 7 years was stipulated by Congress to ensure civilian control of the military. Still ahead, how holiday advertising is changing this time around. And next in Health Watch, the Trump administration hosts a coronavirus vaccine summit as the UK starts distributing the Pfizer vaccine. Once again, it's time to call in your pledge to the KOM Toy Box Project. Our friends at Bishop and Hayes are manning the phones right now, as you see, so grab your debit or credit card and please call 1-888-620-4TOY. Every dollar you give will pay for toys for kids in need right here in the forested area. Now, we want to give a shout out to some of our donors so far. Thanks to Steve and Brenda Kirkpatrick from Oswego, Kansas, now living in New York, for donating $200. And listen up, people in Oswego, Kansas. They're challenging Oswego residents to donate a combined total of $200 today. And if that happens, the Kirkpatricks say they will donate another $200. So people over in Oswego, Kansas, you've got a challenge. Hope you can meet that challenge. We also want to thank Cheryl Davis from Joplin. She gives $20. Thanks, everyone. Please give us a phone call right now. Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine is entering the final phase of review by U.S. government regulators. This as the number of hospitalizations and deaths continue to rise in many parts of the country. Danya Bacchus reports from California, where most residents are under a 3-week stay-at-home order.
The FDA released a positive review of Pfizer's vaccine Tuesday, saying it is strongly protective against COVID-19 and appears safe.
This vaccine actually was tested even because of the scrutiny, with even higher standards in terms of how we do things.
Thursday, during a live debate, a group of independent experts will go over the FDA's findings and vote on whether to recommend the vaccine. An emergency use authorization could follow. The White House held a vaccine summit Tuesday to discuss the government's evaluation process and distribution. Vaccine executives were invited, but both Pfizer and Moderna declined. President Trump kicked off the indoor event.
Nobody thought it was even remotely possible to do what we've done in a period of less than 9 months.
Cases of coronavirus in the U.S. account for a third of all cases worldwide. Here in California, hospitals are at 80% capacity, and most of the state is under a 3-week lockdown.
The epidemic in the U.S. is punishing. It's widespread. It's quite frankly shocking, to see 1 to 2 persons a minute die in the U.S.
In St. Paul, Minnesota, Dr. Benji Matthews says his hospital is stretched thin.
This patient over here is prone on a ventilator, having a feeding tube in place.
The Kentucky State House has a wreath to honor the more than 2,000 residents who've died from COVID. Robert Perry Jr. is among them. Family members say they begged him to wear a mask.
And he said, if the Lord allows me to get through this, I'll never leave home without wearing a mask again. It took that trip to the hospital and what he was going through to finally realize COVID is real.
Perry was 56 years old. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Partial test results from AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine were released today, finding it 70% effective. The FDA will review Moderna's vaccine next week. Doug is coming up with a look at his complete forecast, and a bit later, details on a recall of candles purchased from Dollar Tree.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another great day for us today. We've had partly to mostly sunny skies. Temperatures have been slowly stepping up just a bit each day, and the weather's pretty calm the next few days. We're going to continue to warm up. In fact, we're going to be pressing 70, which is pretty rare for the month of December around here, but you can definitely get outside and enjoy it the next couple days. We do have a weekend storm system we're going to keep our eyes on. Of course, you can get my latest updated blog and long-range forecast on KOAMnewsnow.com. Look at our temps. Still, sun is set. Looks pretty good. 53, 54, 55 degrees across the region. Fort Scott, 52, 51 in Miami. Carthage is sitting at 53. Looking off toward the east from the station, currently sitting at 53. West, southwest winds at about 5 to 10. Humidity is at 45%. So we're going to slide back through the 40s down to about 42 by midnight. And not as cold tonight. We'll bottom out right around 38 a little bit later on tonight. But you can see these kind of mid and upper level clouds streaming in. They're not going to be around long. We'll have partly cloudy skies for us tonight, and then we'll start to break out and see mostly sunny skies once again for us tomorrow. Not a lot going on out west until you find that little system right off the coast of California, and that's the system that will start to affect us by the time we head into Friday. Now, ahead of it, we have this nice little ridge, so that's why we're going to start to warm up. And then once it works in, that's when we'll start to see the changes. So you can see Wednesday looks fantastic. Even into Thursday, we'll get some clouds, but it still looks pretty good. Here's Friday morning. We'll start to see some rain pushing in, and then we're going to have to watch this system as the cold air wraps in behind it. Maybe we can switch over to a little bit of snow. So a lot to watch over the next few days. Tonight's going to be okay. We'll dip back into the upper 30s. 4 overnight lows. And then as we work into Wednesday afternoon, look at this. It looks fantastic as our temperatures really warm up. It looks really nice. I think we'll have mostly sunny skies, 62 by noon. High temp is 68. The winds are going to be light as well. Tomorrow night looks good. We'll drop back into about 40 for an overnight low. And then Thursday, we do it again. Partly to mostly sunny skies. We press 70 by Thursday afternoon. Then we start to see the changes. Clouds really increase. Thursday night, we'll still have a south wind, but rain will sneak in by Friday morning. A cold front's going to roll through, so we'll actually drop into the upper 40s by Friday afternoon. The heaviest rain will start to push off toward the east. On the back side of the system, we'll get a little rain-snow mix by Saturday morning, and then it could all end as a little bit of snow by Saturday afternoon. So that's something we want to keep our eyes on over the next few days. Quite a switch, really. I mean, we're going to be 70 as we work into Wednesday and Thursday, and then those rain chances are going to start to roll in as we head into the weekend.
Even knowing what the weather is going to be like today, it was still a surprise when we went outside. You know, this is weather for December. I'll take it, though.
Yeah, it looks really good. I mean, for the next 2 days, you can't beat it.
No, definitely. Doug Heddy, thank you so much. Hey, just a reminder, you can call right now to KOAM Toy Box Project. Please make a monetary pledge, and we'll use that money to buy toys for area children in need. Our friends at Bishop and Hayes are taking your calls right now. Again, the number is 1-888-620-4TOY. Please donate right now. Coming up, how advertisers are changing their approach to the holidays this year. But first, we honor a local veteran. Richard Thurston served in the U.S. Army during World War II. The Fort Scott, Kansas native was stationed in the Pacific Theater, and we are proud to salute Private First Class Richard Thurston. He is tonight's first state hero. More than 100,000 candles from Dollar Tree are being recalled. Safety officials say the Sure Sense, Peaceful Stream, and Moonlit Waves candles have high flames that could cause the glass to break, leading to fire or a burn risk. The candles were sold between July and September of this year. Advertisers are changing their approach to reach holiday shoppers this year. Some ads are providing humor about the pandemic, others offer escape from it. And as reporter Anna Werner shows us, it's a delicate balance in a holiday season like no other.
Flip on the TV and you may see more ads like these. A girl and her grandmother separated by glass. Postal carriers, essential workers, diligently bringing the mail. A year like 2020 calls for a different kind of holiday advertising, says New York Times advertising writer Tiffany Shu.
How do we nod to the fact that everyone is still cooped up at home, people are still social distancing, the holidays are not going to look like they normally do, while also striking the balance of saying, you guys can still shop, you guys can still celebrate.
Let's deck the halls over video calls.
This Walmart ad acknowledges the current reality of social distancing and mask wearing. But not every company is emphasizing the pandemic. Take Lifetime, which is owned by A&E Networks, and KFC, for example.
Who the hell are you?
Mario Lopez is Colonel Sanders.
They're rolling out this 15-minute mini movie featuring KFC's star in a typical Lifetime made-for-TV style drama. David DeSocio is with A&E Networks.
I think the project is done with a wink. We know what the audience loves.
It's kind of a little bit of an escape.
Andrea Zamansky is with KFC.
It is about telling a bit of our brand story in a fun way.
Not all new approaches are proving to be popular. Hershey's is getting some negative feedback for changing its iconic Holiday Kisses ad. This year, it cuts to a family making cookies.
There's a lot riding on the success of these ads.
It's make or break for a lot of companies.
Shu says Hershey's later said it would run both the new ad and the conventional one, but it goes to show that advertising during a pandemic means striking a tricky balance. Anna Werner, CBS News, Berkeley, California.
Let's check back in with our call center for the KOM Toy Box Tuesday Telethon. Our friends at Bishop and Hayes are taking the calls, also standing up, getting a stretch. Thanks to Brian Stringer from Carthage for your $20 location, and thanks to Manette Krumsick from Frontenac, Kansas for pledging $100. Lines are open right now. And again, that number is 1-888-620-4TOY. Final check of the forecast next. CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOM News at 6, going to hear more from Joplin officials about the fire at the historic Olivia building yesterday. Plus, Joplin police arrest a man they say assaulted a woman on the Frisco Trail. And how the Southeast Humane Society raised $20,000 to help care for the animals sheltered there. Please stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOM News at 6. We want to thank all of you who phoned in your pledge so far during this Toy Box Tuesday telethon. Vance Lewis with our promotions director holding a cow right there saying, please make the move and call us. We also want to thank the folks over at Bishop and Hayes for manning the phone bank this evening. Thanks so much, guys. Now, if you haven't yet made your pledge, don't worry. We're going to be accepting calls again during our 6 o'clock news. Every dollar goes to buy toys for area kids in need. Thanks so much, guys. Final check of the forecast looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Near 40 tonight, 68 tomorrow, 70 on Thursday. So the next 2 days are just really atypical for the month of December. Rain works in Friday with dropping temperatures, rain mixing with some snow by Saturday. So make sure you get outside and enjoy the next 2 days.
All right, Doug, thank you. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 6.